Vicky joining. So Joan, Jeanette, Andrew, Donna, Sylvie, Germaine, François, Vicky, for now.
Raphael was delayed.
Yeah, he told me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ken and Kate also. CC. CC. Or this is Carl from Nanaimo.
Hello,
Vicky.
Francois.
Hello, Carl. How are you, dear you?
Very good, sir.
Good. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Carl. Vicky, can I just acknowledge my voice? We'll start in a moment. Video is recording. Vicky, how is it going, dear you? Can you hear me now?
I'm good here.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
You're crystal clear also. Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. It's a blessing to have you tonight. I greatly anticipated that session tonight. Ken and Kate, Ken and Kate, good to see you guys again. I hope that you relax a little bit more and see how it goes with your outlines and so on. For the purpose of following tonight with the quantity of information that will be disclosed tonight, I'm going to start in prayer in a moment of time. What I would like you to do is to be on page 6 behind me, page 6 out of 19. And you place your finger on capital C towards the top of the page, the sons of God and the daughters of men. This is our last section under page 5, the Toldot of Adam. We are still laboring under Roman numeral 4. If you go on page 5 quickly, the Toldot of Adam. We covered the introduction, capital A. We covered last week and the week before the genealogy of the seed line. Adam, Seth, Enosh, Canaan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch. Turn the page, Methuselah, Lamech, and Noah. So it is very, very human in that portion. From Adam, the genealogy of the seed line. And now we'll finish that section tonight, probably not finish tonight, with the section of capital C, the sons of God and the daughters of men. Having said this, I would like you to open in your Bible in the book of Genesis carefully. Chapter 6, verses 1 to 4, which I will read and then I will elaborate slowly, try to make an exposition of this. Be kind to yourself tonight. There is a lot of details that will be heard on your part for the first time, okay? About that situation of the intermarriage between the sons of God and the daughters of men. Again, the book is very, very foundational, and I will talk through as we move along. Bow yourself, please, with me in prayer as we begin. Father God, every time that the exposition touched the issue of Satan and his demons, I have a sense of nervousness inside, simply because I know that he doesn't like to be known. He likes to stay, he likes the people to ignore his presence, to ignore the schemes and so on. But when you call me to do the work that I do, I cannot avoid this passage, and I cannot avoid the proper views concerning the passage. So my request tonight is for you to put an edge of protection by divine grace upon all the people that listen to these things. Give them peace on their heart, we know to whom we belong, and open the eyes of our soul that we may understand what needs to be understood tonight, and help me to communicate efficiently in a godly way. I give you thanks in advance. I know that it will be fine simply because you take charge of the meeting right now. We pray this, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen. We come to the sons of God and the daughters of men, here capital C, the sons of God and the daughters of men, chapter 6, verses 1 to 8. Before I start the exposition, I would like to read with you verses 1 to 4, which is basically on your outline, Arabic number 1. You come with me. Keep in mind that we're just after, usually chapter 6 comes after 5. I don't know if it's the same thing for you. You do 5 and we talk about mankind, sons, that they will have sons and daughters and so on. Now we start chapter 6, which is absolutely phenomenal and makes sense. Now it came about, 6:1, when men began to multiply on the face of the land and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took wives from themselves, whomever they chose. Then Jehovah said, My spirit shall not strive with man forever, because he is also flesh. Nevertheless, his days shall be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward. When the sons of God came to the daughters of men, they bore children to them, those who were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. Bon voyage, have a good time, make your notes. I will elaborate on the passage right now. We are under Arabic number 1, the intermarriage with the human race. Before moving on to the exposition here, let me make 11 points in general concerning that passage. If you want to note them, I'm going to take my time, try to repeat them. They are short statement, 11 points that I need to make. This passage, number 1, this is a passage that there is one major point of debate among theologians here. In the book of Genesis and maybe the entire Bible, this is a passage that we are just studying tonight, which became a major point of debate among theologians that are serious of the book of Genesis. The matter is this, still under point 1. The matter is the identification of the kind of intermarriage took place here in Genesis chapter 6. Keep it simple. What kind of intermarriage here took place in Genesis chapter 6 verses 1 to 8? That's the matter of the debate. Some theologians, they hold the view that the intermarriage in the human realm, they say that the marriage is between two lines of Adam. That's probably what you have heard in the past. It's between two human lines, between the two lines lineage of Adam. Basically, it goes like this. The intermarriage, they say that it's between the godly Sethites, the godly line of Seth. That's why I say the godly line of the Sethites, intermarrying with the ungodly line of the Canaanites. That's what they say, that this is a human marriage that took place there. And the marriage occurred between the godly Sethites, the sons of Seth, and the ungodly Canaanites, the sons of Cain. Other people, there's only two views on that. All the view that the intermarriage found here in Genesis chapter 6 is between fallen angels and human women. Others, they hold the view that the marriage that we find here took wives from themselves and so on, is between fallen angels, demons if you prefer, fallen angels, and human women. I do hold this view, okay? That's the view that I hold firmly. You studied both, that's where I go with this. If you hold the view number 1, I'm fine, but I will give you the full explanation as to why I hold this view here. The exposition will be complete. The reason why is still on number one, that I hold that view, it's the most consistent with the full body of revealed truth, your Bible. Concerning demons, concerning Satan, concerning mankind, concerning the plan of God, and so on and so forth. This is the view that is the most consistent with the body of revealed truth that we find in the Bible. And the 10 next points will explain just this. So it was 11 points, now I am done with point 11. Let me summarize point number one. 2 views about what kind of marriage did take place at that time, right after chapter 5. That the sons of God intermarried with the women on earth. Some say that this is the godly line of the Sethites, married with the ungodly line of the Canaanites. The marriage would be purely human in that case. The second view is a supernatural marriage on one side between the sons of God, who are fallen angels, intermarried with the human race on the feminine part only, with women. Point number 2, do you know the meaning of the word Satan? I want to explain to you the meaning of the word Satan in Hebrew. What does it mean? I said it in a few classes recently. It means one word only, adversary. The adversary, Satan. He is, of course, the adversary of God. And unless we know these fallen angels in a good way, in a healthy way, what I mean healthy way about knowledge of Satan, it has to come exclusively from the text of the scriptures. That's the totality of my point 2. Number 3, this being, he was a cherub from the highest rank of the angel. He was created. He was created long time ago. Where do we know that he was created? The book of Ezekiel, chapter 28, verse 13 at the end. The book of Ezekiel, I will read it for you. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 28, verses 13 at the end, saying this, "And the gold, the workmanship of your setting and sockets was in you, on the day that you were created." So, simply put in your note that he is a created being. This is the totality of my point number 3. Satan is never called an it, it, like a pen. He has everything that constitute a personality, intellect, emotion, and will. Intellect, emotion, and will. He can have wrath. He understands the plans of God. And he has a will of his own. Satan is not an emanation of evil power. It's not what you see at the Halloween, a skeleton with horns and so on, black and red and so on. You need to delete everything that you see about him. Was looking way more beautiful than this. Okay? This is the totality of my point 3. According to Ezekiel chapter 28 verse 14, he was the anointed cherub. You were the anointed cherub. Circle cherub. That's the way we write it. UB, yeah. Cherub. One cherub, two cherubim. He was the anointed cherub above the throne of God. Without making a study of Ezekiel here, he was the one leading in worship. You know that from the verses that precedes. He was in authority over all the cherubic order of angels, the highest class, the highest rank of angelology. He was the chief cherub. You can call him that he was an ark. cherub. More than an archangel, he was an arch cherub.
That's a good overview. That's what I want.
Okay, you can go.
Merci.
You're welcome. Thank you, my love. You're good.
I just came here for you to open this. I'm not gonna bother you.
No, I know you won't. Be good. Get on the couch and just wait for me. And I will not be too long, my love.
Okay.
Where was I? Number 4. He was the anointed cherub. He was in charge of any kind of worship. Was past tense. He's no longer doing that anyway. But it's not a full-fledged Satanology here. Point number 5 is wisdom is now, present tense, corrupted. Ezekiel chapter 28 verse 17b. Your heart was lifted up because of your beauty. You corrupted your wisdom. And his wisdom as we speak now, right now, is corrupted. He knows his destiny. He was defeated at the cross, yet he will try everything to keep the second coming from happening. Everything that I say, this is worthwhile to go back to YouTube and to re-listen to this if you want to note your notes properly. His wisdom is corrupted. Would you come with me in the book of Isaiah, chapter 14? You don't have to. If you can come in the book of Isaiah, chapter 14. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, here it's crucial to understand. And we did Isaiah, but it's too long. We have already forgotten many things about Isaiah. You find in chapter 14 the 5 I wills of Satan. 5 things that he wants to be. Crucial to understand Genesis. I'm telling you the truth. Isaiah chapter 14 verse 13a goes like this. But you said in your heart, this is God speaking to Satan, I will ascend to heaven. That's the first I will. He just wanted before the fall, after falling, he just wanted to have the highest rank. And he was already having, in angelology wording, he was occupied the highest rank that an angel could occupy. He was the chief of the cherubim, but he was not happy. He wanted to be God himself. That's the first I will. The second I will, 13b, I will raise my throne above the stars of God. He wanted to be basically Michael. Michael's position, he is a cosmocrat, and Michael is in charge of the people of Israel to this day. In the heavenly realm, the one that protects Israel as a nation, the one that protects the remnant as the remnant, is the job of Michael. He wanted it. Be with me. Would you like to put the people of Israel for 1 minute in the hand of the power of Satan? No more Jews existing on the planet or whatsoever. That's why I'm showing you the 5 I wills, and we will do the exposition based upon what we learned. The third I will, 13c. Here it says, I will sit on the mount of the assembly, or of assembly in the recesses of the north. Here. Okay? He wants to become the messianic ruler. The recesses of the north is Mount Moriah. So when you go south and you look north, you finish on Mount Moriah in the temple of the fourth temple in the messianic realm, if you want to. So he wants to become the messianic ruler. It's not for nothing that he is called the Antichrist. Adversary, Antichrist, against Christ. He wants to be on the throne of God, take the place of God the Father. The fourth I will, 14a, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. The clouds here, it's not the clouds that you have in British Columbia. If you don't see them right now, wait November. Okay? They will come here. The clouds is the Shekinah glory. He wants that uniqueness. He wants to possess the Shekinah glory again, he wants to be God. To clinch the argument after, I will make myself the Most High. So that's the 5 I will of Satan. I am done with this. Why do I do it? I am not completely outside the context. Dear beloved, I told you that I hold the view that the marriage that did happen in chapter 6 of Genesis is not the Sethite and the Canaanites. It's a supernatural marriage, and we're building a case right now. Number 7, point of view. In Daniel chapter 11:37, the Antichrist, the second person of the counterfeit Trinity, has no desire for women. I'm not going to read Daniel. How come he doesn't have any desire for women? I'm asking you, it's going to lead to point 8. How come he doesn't like women? That explains all the rapes today, the sexual abuse, pornography, name it, against the womanhood. How come he doesn't like motherhood or womanhood? We know that because the prophecy of Genesis chapter 3 verse 15 is to him. When God speaks in Genesis chapter 3 verse 15 that I will put enmity between the seed of the woman and your seed, Satan, is speaking to Satan. So do you think that Satan knows Genesis chapter 3 verse 15? He can quote it by heart.
Wow.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. In my notes I have 5 and then I don't have 6. Can you tell me where 6 began?
It's the 5 I wills.
Okay, so the 5 I wills is the beginning of number 6.
Correct. The
Okay,
5 I
thank you.
wills found in Isaiah. This is your point number 6.
Yeah, thank you.
Confused. Okay? Good. Now we're on point number 7, the Daniel. Okay? Point number 8, Genesis 3:15. Who is the speaker? The speaker is God, and he speaks to Satan. If you go to Genesis chapter 3 verse 15, who does the speaking at that place? The speaking is God. The recipient of the prophecy is Satan. Vicky.
Can you slow down just a bit and repeat that, Daniel? Daniel reference?
Daniel is the, he doesn't have any desire for women. Daniel 11:37. He doesn't care for womanhood, which is very, very natural for a human being. That's why the Antichrist is the counterfeit Trinity. Basically, the counterfeit Trinity will imitate the incarnation with the power of the occult. Number 9, back to number 3, was created. When was he created? We know this from Job chapter 38, verses 4 to 7. He was created before everything that exists in the universe. So the angels are old, both fallen and non-fallen. They have seen the world going from a long time ago. They surpass us as far as being created. They were created way before mankind. Because when God displayed the universe by the power of His Word, they shouted for joy. Wow! Because they witnessed the creation coming together. That was revealed to the book of Job. He saw it. So don't ignore the power there at all. God surpasses him in power, but we cannot poke fun of him. The best thing that we do against Satan in the scriptures, it's not to bind Satan, it's not to make fun of him, it's not to call him name, it's to resist. That's what we need to do daily to resist Satan. Number 10, it's Matthew chapter 23 verse 39. For those who did not do the life of the Messiah with TSM, I'm going to read Matthew chapter 23 verse 39. For he was rejected, and he said to the people of Israel, I say unto you from now on, you will not see me again until you say, Baruch haba Beshem Adonai. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Why do you think that Satan, with the anti-Semitism that exists on the planet right now, Why does he want to get rid of the Jews? To keep the second coming from happening, because if he wipes out the Jews, who will be able to call him to come back? You will not see me again until you say. You're nowhere to be seen in the passage. It's not the church, it's not the Gentiles, it's a Jewish audience. Are you with me? That's what I'm expecting. Beautiful. That's point number 10. The reason is he wants to wipe up the Jews in order to keep the second coming from happening. I have a question, don't answer. What do you think he will try to do to keep the first coming from happening? Intermarrying with the human race. To distort the seed of the woman. To wreck it. To produce a grotesque race. The Nephilim. The exposition is over. No, I'm not done. So if he bothers trying to wipe up the Jews in order to prevent the second coming to happen, the question is, theologically speaking, from a good theologian that doesn't afraid of the passage, why not trying to keep the first coming from happening? And that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. Point number 11. The issue is not different here than it was to be evaluated when it was revealed in the context. Okay? At this point of time in history, what was known to mankind was that the Redeemer would come by the woman. This was revealed already. They could not go to 1st and 2nd Kings. They could not go to Isaiah. They could only go to the oral teaching of Mr. Adam and Eve. And one thing that the Satan go with his shebang here, it's that the Redeemer would come by the seed of the women, or the woman if you want to, singular here. And this was revealed to the earthling, mankind. How much more was it revealed to the one that was once above the throne of God, Satan, in Ezekiel chapter 14? If mankind knew it, that the Redeemer was going to come, chapter 4, verse 1, I have gotten a man-child, Jehovah, thinking that she gave birth to Jehovah, how much more? The angelic realm knew about it, since they have been created way before the fall of Satan and way before the fall of man. I'm ready for the exposition. Do you have any comments or questions? It's impossible that you don't have comments or questions at this time. Ask. Number 1. The intermarriage. Are you serious? Is it new to you? What? Go.
So the Nephilim, did they have still ability to be mingling with the other angels? Like good angels
Janet, it's part of the exposition. I will not let you down. You will not be let down.
Okay.
It's part of the exposition. It's verse 4. It's part of the exposition. Don't be offended by that. It's just I don't want to jump the gun.
So just explain, Francois, again on verse 37 of Daniel chapter 11. He will show no regard for the gods of his fathers or for the desire of woman. Gods of his fathers.
His father is Satan. That's in reference to the Antichrist right now. The God is a small g.
That's right, it is. Yep.
Yeah. The God in 11 chapter 11 verse 37 is he will have no regard for the God of his father. The God of his father, basically, it's God. It's himself. He will have no regard for anything. Specifically, which is natural for a man, since he will be the counterfeit Christ, the Antichrist is the counterfeit Christ. He will have no desire to marry, most likely no sexual desire as well, which is very normal for a male.
But that's in reference to the Antichrist.
Correct. The Daniel 11, it's in reference to the Antichrist, the second person of the counterfeit Trinity.
Okay, that's okay. Good. Thank you. That was good.
You're most welcome. The intermarriage, we read chapter 1, verse 4. We are still under the Toldot, page 5, the Toldot of Adam. Before I start the exposition, finish your notes. I will be right back. Sophia? Are you okay? I apologize for the interruption. I just keep an eye on Sophia for the time being. Just wanted to know that we embark into Arabic number 1. Now the texts come. That's the exposition right now. Keeping in mind the research that we did together in a nutshell, very much of a nutshell. While I was studying systematic theology, I think I spent a year in angelology, studying the good angels, studying Satanology, and studying demonology. So once you get solid in this and you come to Genesis chapter 6, you cannot ascribe that to basically a natural marriage. We are still under the Toldot of Adam, so what's concerned right now in chapter 6 will be the other side of the Toldot of the male, the female. At that time, there was no prohibition to marry within the family lines. At that time, there was no such a thing to marry within the family lines. As we have seen last week and the week before, all the name from Adam to Methuselah and Noah, they had sons and daughters, and at that time, these are the people that populated the earth prior to the flood. Okay? They had many sons and daughters from Adam's side, from his sons. There was multiplication of humanity in chapter 5. 9 times you have, and they had sons and daughters. So the population prior to the flood, which we cannot put a number on it, the earth was already populated. 9 times you have they produced sons and daughters. In verse 1 in Genesis chapter 6, I need to go back there, I was still in Matthew. Genesis chapter 6, now it came about. You circle, now it came about, or came to pass. The now it came about, it links with chapter 6 verses 1 to 4 of chapter 6 becomes the link with the genealogy of chapter 5. That's what links the two. The genealogy of chapter 5 verses 1 to 4 of chapter 6 connect the two together. It's easy. And now here in chapter 6, the focus become not of Adam's son, but on Adam's daughter, the lineage of the daughters. The line of Adam, what became of Adam, the daughters. And that's the result of chapter 3, verse 16, giving birth with pain and so on. The earth became populated. Men began to multiply. Look, now it came about when men began to multiply. Circle men began to multiply. That's the result of chapter 3, verse 16. You will give birth with pain and so on. When you have the word men, M-E-N, the plural form, it's a generic term here. Ha-Adam, H-A-Adam, Ha-Adam. It's generic, it's not the name. So Ha-Adam here, the word ben, in chapter 1, verse 6 here, It's humanity in general, including both females and males. Okay? Man began to multiply. Man began to multiply. It's humanity. Back to Ha-Adam in chapter 6, verse 1, provides a few clues here regarding the argument that the Sethites were godly while the Cainites were ungodly. So it produced a few clues here. According to this view, the marriage is natural. Those who believe that that's the godly Sethites marrying the ungodly Cainites, that's a marriage of natural here, natural marriage, which is not the view. I hold the view that the marriage was supernatural. Point 1, verse 2, concerning this, I will make 3 points on verse 2. Come with me. That the sons of God, circle the sons of God of verse 2. They say that it refers to the godly sons of Seth, hence the Sethite. That's the view that we examine right now. Sorry for the bumpiness. And they take the daughters of men, also found in verse 2. They saw that the daughters of men, so it must be the ungodly offspring of Cain, the Cainites, according to the view that the marriage is natural. But the Ha-Adam of verse 1, it's a generic term. That's the but here. Going back to my view here, but Ha-Adam of verse 1 is a generic term. So it would include the male in both lines. The Sethites in the Cainites is the strong point against the natural marriage. The Ha-Adam of verse 1, men began Ha-Adam, it's a generic here. So it would include the male in both lines, the Sethites and the Cainites. That's the first point. The second point, to carry on, it's based on point 1 that I just elaborated upon. In addition to number 1, the Hebrew Ha-Adam includes both male and female because it's generic. As a result, Genesis 6:1 is stating that man and woman from both lines were multiplying the human race. It would basically imply or multiply the human race. So basically there is no distinction between the Sethites and the Cainites because it's humanity in general. They are not named by Cainites and Sethites because the word is generic. Ha-Adam is generic, not basically specific to a specific lineage. And a third point against the natural marriage between a righteous line and an unrighteous line is that the descendants of Seth and Cain died in the flood. If it was the righteous Sethites and the unrighteous Cainites, how come the Sethites were not prevented from dying in the flood? There is no explanation for this. If they were righteous, how come the flood took them? And everybody died in the flood except 3 sons, the 3 sons of Noah. So basically the credibility for a natural marriage falls down with these comments here. And I'm not trying I cannot say, beloved, follow me. I cannot say that the natural marriage view is proper, because it's not proper. If you want to remain biblical throughout with passages that I will give you later, it's not a view that can be endorsed. Those who endorse that view, they have not necessarily studied Satanology proper and his desire to do what? Don't be offended by that. I cannot say it's a valid view. It's valid for those who wants to hold it, but when you come to commentaries where they hold that view, and I have one beside me here, Leupold, the book of Genesis, he has only a paragraph on the text. It's not enough to explain the issue. In chapter 6, verse 1, the word daughters means female. And the emphasis here in chapter 6 is on the female portion of humanity. Instead, chapter 5 was what? The male portion of humanity. They had sons and daughters. Schlang. Chapter 6, verse 1, the emphasis or the focus is on the female part of humanity. And the term can't be limited to the female descendants of Cain only. That doesn't work out. All the terminology in Hebrew embrace femalehood at large, both godly and ungodly. Now, come to something interesting here in verse 2. Come with me. Now that the sons of God saw, you circled the word saw, that the daughters of men were beautiful, circle beautiful, and they took, circle took wives for themselves, whomever they choose. The term sons of God here is Bene Ha Elohim, Bene, B apostrophe N-E-I, Bene, Ha Elohim, Elohim. That's the sons of God. Elohim is the word God, Bene, son, the sons of God. And in the Hebrew Bible, the entire Hebrew Bible, it's always and consistently, with the agreement of all theologians, Louis Berkhoff, Chuck Ryrie, and so on, it's always a reference to angels, consistently, when you have the expression sons of God. Scriptures on it. Job chapter 6, chapter 1, verse 6. Job chapter 2, verse 1. About the expression the sons of God. Job chapter 38, verse 7. Psalm 29, verse 1. Psalm 29, verse 1 will say sons of the mighty. Psalm 89, verse 6, the same. In Aramaic, it's bar. Bar is the equivalent of the Hebrew ben. In Aramaic, it's bar Elohim, the sons of God. And all expositors agree that when you have the expression the sons of God without failing, no exception to the rule, it's always about the fallen angels. So the expression the sons of God is understood by all theologians as being angels, no need for the exception here. And those who hold the view that this is the Sethites and the Cainites, they make an exception here when there is no need to make one. You have no need to pull out an exception to accommodate the view. That's why I struggle with that view. The term or expression is used of both fallen and unfallen angels. Both of them. Today we have the good angels, the cosmocrat for Israel, Michael, the archangel, and your protection angel, those who protect the people and so on in countries. Both the good angels and the bad angels, which became demon after the fall of Satan, they are called the sons of God. Sons of God, one, why? Because they were created. It makes them sons of God. Okay? By the way, the view of the sons of God being angels is the oldest view in this verse. I'm going to give you example of it. The view that I hold is the oldest in the Jewish system. If you go back to rabbis of the first century and 250 before the coming of Christ, the view that the marriage is the sons of God, and it goes way back. Make notes. I won't read that for you. Josephus Antiquity, the first century historian, Antiquity of the Jews, chapter 1, verse 73, he holds the view that the marriage of Genesis chapter 6 is between angels and mankind, womanhood. In the book of Enoch, which I have on my shelf here, the Dead Sea Scroll, the Damascus document, chapter 2, verses 16 and 19, They hold the view that it was the sons of God, the power of the occult. First Enoch in the book of Jubilee, in First Enoch chapter 4 verse 15, the same. And these books are not canonical, but they are old, way before the church. Second Enoch chapter verse 18, same thing. Do I need to repeat any reference here where the older view? Go ahead. So the summary of this so far, the term men in chapter 6 verse 1 refers to humanity in general. The sons of God in verse 2 refers to what we call angelality, the fallen angels. That's what is contrasted in the view here. And the natural view originated with Augustine, by the way, and Chrysostom in the 1st and 2nd century. Augustine, church father, and St. John Chrysostom. The natural marriage between the godly Sethites and the Cainites originated with them, and they are master allegorical people. They allegorize many things. They are not all bad in their theology, but the allegorizing the text started with Augustine and Constantinople and so on. So verse 2a, that the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves, whomever they chose. Okay? Beautiful. They look good. They were looking fair. Leads to a sinful sexual attraction to the woman. The daughters of Job, who lived in the time of the Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He lives in the time of the patriarch, when his daughter, he regained 3 daughters in chapter 23. One of them is carrying a pouch. It's painting her eyes. They were beautiful ladies. So that looks beautiful. It's not beautiful in a spiritual way. Women looks beautiful still today, and they become the desire of mankind. So whenever the fallen angels, they took on human form, it's always male. Good angels and bad, they appear always as male. There is no one example in the scriptures that looks like female angel when they become in human form. They are always male. Always, without exception in the text. You will never find women angels except at the dollar shop for Christmas tree. They took wives in verse 2b. Notice that the marriages is only one way. It's not the women that took them for husband. It's a one-way marriage. They, the sons of God, the fallen angels, they took wives. It's a one-way marriage to keep the first coming from happening by distorting, wrecking the seed of the woman. Nothing about the daughters of men marrying the sons of God. It's a one-way straight ordained by the power of the occult. The terminology here indicates that this intermarriage was not strictly within the human sphere. Okay? It was between the human sphere and the angelic sphere also. Notice the wider context of verses 1 to 4. It will cause the flood. That's why the flood will come after this. Digest what's being said. I'll be right back for the sake of accountability with my daughter.
Hi, Ken. I had to work today.
Hey, Ralph. Yeah, that's okay.
How are you doing?
Good, good.
Huh? All right.
Good.
Doing well, thank you.
I am back.
Talk to you later.
I am back with this. The wider context will cause the flood. Are you with me? Why do you think that the flood came? And Janet, I did not forget your question. They produce the Nephilim. It's going to be next week, the production of the Nephilim, not tonight. But the flood will come to wipe that out, to start afresh with the lineage of the woman. Because satanic marriage or demonic marriage with mankind produce what we call a grotesque. Do you know this word? Grotesque race. In order to keep the seed of the woman from producing a legitimate child, or at that time born of the virgin, which was not revealed at that time, that he would have no father sperm involved into the birth of the Messiah. It was not known at that time. The only thing that they knew from Genesis is that the deliverer, the Messiah, would come from the seed of the woman. That's all what was revealed at that time. And that's why Satan, knowing this, said, oh really? Genesis 3:16, the one that will redeem what I just wrecked on the planet, the chaos of Genesis chapter 1 verse 1, the darkness over the planet, the deliverer of all this will come from the seed of the woman. Let me take care of the woman. And that's what he does in the intermarriage. That's very, very consistent with his characteristics. The 5 I wills of Satan. And so on. That's why husbands today are asked to lay down their lives for their wives. Wives are asked to be in subjection and submission to their husband. Everything comes from that place. Male portion of the group tonight, look after your ladies with honor. Ladies, let yourself be looked after properly. When a man at Walmart opens the door for you, don't pretend equality with men in the sense that no, we don't do it anymore. Men open the door to the ladies. That's proper to do. Ladies, accept it. That's the way it ought to be. That's simple. That's our way in Christianity today to counteract the schemes of the devil. Not the education system, even some of the seminaries today. She wants to see you.
No.
Let's say hello and then say hello. Say hello. You will see Vicky. Hello. There you go. Oh, yeah, she's heavier than my Bible. You go. Go to the
Well,
couch.
Sophia,
Go to the couch, my love. Sophia, go to the couch. 5 minutes. All right, where was I? This is it. This is it for tonight. I need to look after. I need to give a good accountability. Unmute yourself and do some comments, please. I don't want that it was good. Tell me if it does make some sense to you. Becky, I can see. Ken, go ahead.
yeah, so Noah, he comes from the line of Seth then, correct?
No, he comes from the he comes from the line of Seth, correct.
Comes from the line of Seth. And so Noah had 3 sons, but he married, they were married to daughters. Did they really just say what line they came from, right? Did they come from
They come
that?
they come from the godly side, the godly line of the Sethites, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
That's
both died in the flood anyway, so except these ladies being good people, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, they're married with good people. They were preserved, basically,
Okay.
to
Yeah.
populate
So
the earth. We come from them here. All the rest of mankind will be erased in the flood.
all right. Because you mentioned like the Canaanite and the Sethite, like in a sense, but the Canaanite, you know,
They were not the lineage, and they were not very godly. But again, that view. Even from the godly line, you have people that stands in unbelief. that the view of the godly Sethites and the ungodly Canaanites, it doesn't mean that there was no Canaanites that were believing in God. That's the view to accommodate, to stay away from the Satan marriage.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Okay. What?
Well, anyway, God's people or not, they were sinners.
It is an absolute. It's an absolute. It's an absolute.
Yeah.
So, and
They were better than the other class.
absolutely.
They were better.
No righteous people will get into a marriage with a non-righteous line. So you need to analyze all these positions. So that's why it's, for me, the view of a natural marriage doesn't hold together, because I'm not finished with the passage. I need to compare this with different passages also. The exposition is far from being finished. It's going to take me next week and perhaps part of the following week to finish this chapter, and we will close that after this and move on into the book. I just want to explain this here, follow me, because in light of the passage, it projects a lot of light concerning the adversary. And we need to know these things because churches today don't teach very much about Satanology and demonology. And since I said to you at the beginning of the book that the book of Genesis is a foundational book, it touches on Satanology right here, and it ought to be explained properly. Just mute yourself, yeah. That's why the comments about this after the fall, she took the lead in the fall, Eve, and that's why it reflects in the position of the ladies in the church today. It's a foundational book, and if you don't study it one time in your Christianity, maybe there is a risk that your foundation in theology might be fragile because a lack of studying the scriptures. Usurping the role of the husband, trying to rule over the husband. This is a problem of humanity today. And the problem of humanity today is because most of them are unbelievers. But these problems in humanity today of women usurping the role of a man is in Christianity also. It's in Christianity also. So when we study proper, you don't become popular by saying the comments that I did about subjection and so on. Nobody would want me as a pastor, and that's why I don't pastor a church. Nobody wants me unless I compromise with this. But with me, there is no such a compromise, and I will die in loneliness. It's a very lonely road what I do here. Even among you, you don't need to agree with every point of detail that I gave you, but my commitment is to remain faithful to the text and the context. And I cannot violate the context to accommodate your view.
So anyways, back to the Sethites and the Canaanites. The reason I asked that question, I was just curious because I wanted to see where that line came from. Because I know that there was Noah, then there was Ham, then there was Canaan. I was just curious, like, wow, it's interesting. Did he name it after the Canaanites?
Absolutely,
you know, because the land of Canaan, the conquest of the land of Canaan.
I will not.
Really unbelievable when you think about it.
Absolutely, and I will not let you down. If you go to the descendants of Noah, in Genesis chapter 10, you have the tablets of the nation. And we will study it inside and out. You will know if you are Dutch, if you are Asian, if you are Mexican people, you will know from where you are in the lineage.
Right.
We need to go to the tablets of the nation first. And I will give you...
Yeah, I studied mine already at the line of Japheth.
Absolutely. We will see that at the due time. The thing that we know, it's the humanity that we have on the planet now comes from the three sons of Noah. Because everybody was wiped out. So that's my problem with the marriage. If they are godly, how come God wipes them out? In the flood, it's not